I would say that the big lesson here is your clients are the lifeblood of your business as an agency. You can take care of them really well, but you probably don't want to take care of them the way that they need to be taken care of. And you maybe don't have the bandwidth to totally do that. So I think my takeaway is you should definitely go find somebody that you trust to do that great job for you, and don't skimp on it. Don't pass it off to VAs are amazing, but find somebody that you would be proud to put in front of your clients and you would trust to run those calls by themselves. And I think that's really, really important. And it unlocks a whole lot in your business.
Welcome to the Happy Clients Podcast, brought to you by Dot & Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in, chat cam life, and have some fun along the way. Cheers to happy clients.
So Bryan, let's dive in. Can you give our listeners high-level overview of you and your agency?
Yeah, totally. Well, hey everybody, my name's Bryan Starck, and I run an agency called 100 Celsius, and we are a customer engagement and CRM marketing agency for direct-to-consumer e-commerce brands. So what we specialize in is helping brands grow profitably by creating really amazing experiences for their customers and building connection through channels like email, SMS, direct mail. We do consulting, manage agency services, and we work with a bunch of e-commerce brands across kind of a pretty wide range of industries. It's like fitness, supplements, CBD, automotive, pets, you name it.
Love it. And I love how unique you guys are. You're very niched, but also you're doing something that basically no one else is doing, which is really cool in a way that is so unique, which we're going to get into in this episode. But how did you get started in running an agency? Because it doesn't just happen. What was kind of your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, that's a super good question. I never pictured myself wanting to necessarily run an agency. I did a number of different things, but what immediately led to the agency formation was that I was doing sales for a marketing tech company. And this was like an enterprise marketing technology company. So we were basically powering the email CRM retention programs for some really big brands like Stitch Fix, Dollar Shave Club, Spanx, Staples, Finish Line, like a lot of those types of brands. And so I was doing sales for them. So I was having a lot of conversations with executives at these big companies. But what I started realizing is that a lot of smaller brands, maybe low seven figures, mid seven figures, et cetera, were contacting us, and they were coming to us saying like, hey, we have a retention problem. We want to know more about our customers. We want to personalize our communication better. How can your technology help us? And then when I started talking to them, you realize, well, hold on a second. I think the first issue here is that your customers hate reading your emails. Hold on a second. You're using a tool like Klaviyo, but you only have a couple of basic automations set up. You're maybe only sending to just a generic list, right, of engaged subscribers. You're not doing any kind of segmentation, any kind of thoughtful, intentional personalization. And you can do all that stuff with the tools that 90% of relatively successful e-com brands have, like Klaviyo, PostScript, those types of tools. You can do all that stuff. It just needs better strategy. So I started getting really into it, really excited about it. I was like, oh man, I could do this. And so, took a bunch of courses on the side in the mornings, evenings while I was doing my job. And then eventually ended up getting my first client to write emails for them and start sending emails. And the rest was history. I just kind of made the full-time jump way before it was financially advisable to do so.
You had that spark.
Yeah. I was I could see the path doing sales, but then I was but what I'm really excited about was helping brands on the marketing side, on that strategy side. And I really felt like I could do that better, running my own thing. So yeah, and here we are today.
That's probably the most entrepreneurial thing you could say, right? I took the leap and didn't look back.
Yeah, well, I mean, can't say I never looked back.
So there's a ton of unique things about 100 Celsius, but there's definitely some areas that you are, I guess, paving the way. And first of all, I wanted to kind of talk about your North Star approach, your benchmark, your North Star benchmark. and what that even means to clients and how you're evaluating that, and just why it's so important for you to spearhead that initiative.
So this has been something, and also just a quick shout out for you guys, like Bonnie, I'm working with one of your client account managers, Bonnie, and she's been like the world's best asset to our business. And so this is something that we've been talking about and working on a lot together, which is like, we have a couple of North Star metrics, right? One is from a strategy perspective for our clients. We want to, like I said, help brands grow profitably by creating amazing experiences with their customers. The other one, and I think that the one you're probably referring to, is more of a business North Star for us and for our clients, which is how can we help our clients love their business more? And the thing, and I know this is going to resonate with you guys, but like the thing that, you realize when you're in a service-based business is that you work with a lot of businesses that really don't enjoy their business.
True.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you're running a 7-8 figure e-commerce brand, like you've got so many moving parts. You've got people to manage, your attribution screwed up, like Facebook kick you off with an algorithm they have and they do, right? You're trying to figure out how to manage TikTok right now. And it's all super stressful. And I think like from a partnership standpoint, a lot of businesses work with agency partners that don't help them. In fact, they add to the confusion, where they're just like siloed. They like don't communicate. They don't work with their other agency partners. They don't like really demonstrate that they want what's best for the business. They're just like trying to, like, I made all this money, right? Like I did all this stuff, but my perspective is there's a lot of room for opportunity. And so like, this is not something we've always been super good at, to be totally fair, but I think going forward, our North Star is like, we're trying to make decisions around how we structure things, how we communicate, what kinds of benefits we offer to our clients in a way that through this lens of like, what can we do to make them love their business more? Whether that's like, could we be more proactive with communication? Could we be more proactive with reporting? What special things can we do for them that aren't part of our scope of work, right? How can we set better boundaries and better expectations on both ends? So all these things, definitely work in progress, but that's what we're shooting for.
I love that. It definitely resonates with us, I think a lot of agency owners who come to us and we're speaking to, they're at a point where they're so burnt out and they don't have the team to help support them that they don't love their business. And so I think that's such a good reminder, Bryan, of like the reason that we're all in business is to help other people, and to make them love their business is just like such a cool blessing.
Totally. I agree.
And like, even to acknowledge that you might not like it all, right? Like we're finding that agencies are coming to us. They're like, I just can't grasp this client piece. I don't love it. I can't communicate as well as I'd like to. So you pivot to what does make you love your business more. And you have ways to kind of, alleviate those other parts, which I think is really cool for any business, really.
Yeah. I think that's so huge, right? Is like, what do you love running your business? And like, how can you do more of that? And then find the people that love the stuff that you don't love to do, or that are at least good at it. And
exactly.
And when client management, and again, it's like a hard problem. Like most businesses don't, like, it's the rare entrepreneur, I think, that like really, really loves client management. like client account management. Yeah. Just like, to be totally honest, it's the rare e-commerce founder or the rare like entrepreneur that like really loves email marketing, like really loves the stuff. And it's like, so find the people that do love that and are really good at that and put them in that place that you don't have to deal with it. I think is really, really key.
Yeah,
totally
agree.
So the question is over to you, Bryan. What is your favorite part about the business? What do you love?
A lot of it is like really blindsided me. I didn't expect I was going to like. Maybe I expected I was going to like, and I don't. Right now, the part that I'm really enjoying, which I really didn't expect to enjoy, is actually building a team. When I went full time, my vision for this was like, I'm going to keep this as lean and mean as I possibly can. I'm going to just like maybe use some VAs. I'm going to have a crazy systemized offer and just kind of whip it out. Like it's productized, it's easy, keep it nice and lean. Because I was like, I don't want to build a team. Like, I don't think that was what I wanted to do. I've realized over the last years it's played out really differently, where it's like I've actually had to grow a team. So we're now about 8 people. It's soon to be 9 this week.
Amazing.
And it's presented a crazy amount of challenge. Like obviously leading a team is not easy, and I like am not particularly good at it, I think, at this point still, but I'm trying. But what is really, really fun is when you start seeing those moments of like, you've made the investment in, supporting these people and bringing in the right people that are really competent and capable. And then like you see them take initiative and like take ownership of things and like, go do stuff that you didn't have to do. And you can just trust them to like, you can kind of lean on it,
huge.
trust them to do that. And that feeling of when you see something great happen in your business or for a client that your team did is super cool. And I was not expecting that was going to be as cool as it was. But yeah, so that's like the thing that I'm really enjoying a lot right now.
That's super valuable. People will often, like come to us and be feeling that. Can it go to somebody else? Can my client relationships, be in the hands of other people? But really finding those key players and those dedicated people is almost necessary sometimes, and does alleviate that stress too, right?
Yeah. I mean, I remember the first, like maybe not the first time, but like there's a recent client call where we had a consulting call with one of our consulting clients. And, we're actually wrapping up that consulting engagement. It was meant to be a 3-month engagement, but like we're leaving it on such good terms. Their team was like, we're measuring this. We're measuring how we think about email as before CJ, our lead strategist, and then after CJ. And like our strategist was running it, Bonnie was running it. And I was just like on the call, kind of sitting back, just basically there to show face and smile and stuff. And then I left the call feeling, man, this is so cool. My team just crushed a consulting engagement and the client was super happy. And I didn't have to basically do anything. So it was
Isn't
really,
that the best?
Except build the best team ever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
right. Except put the right people in the right spot, and then like,
That's right.
give them the ability to like do really great work. That's the whole game, right?
So Bryan, I want to dig into how you guys manage your clients at your agency. So I know you guys focus a lot on the proactive communication piece, which is really important to us here at DOT, but run us through what your expectations are of the team when it comes to communication with your clients.
Yeah, definitely a work in progress and like an evolution. So we have a couple things that we use, right? Slack, we have a dedicated line of communication with them there. Email, and then what used to be Notion, now we transitioned to ClickUp, and Bonnie's played a huge role in helping us migrate over there. And what we're really trying to get to the point of is where our clients don't have to reach out to us to know what's going on. If our client ever has to like, hey guys, like how did that perform? Or like, hey, what's going on with email? Or how many leads do we get from this campaign or whatever? That tells me that we're not doing a good enough job being proactive with them. So a couple of things that we're doing to basically improve in that. One, every client now has a dashboard in ClickUp. Is like their central place where they go. So like they don't have to go to a bunch of different places. They just know like, okay, you can bookmark this dashboard and ClickUp, and it has your campaign calendar, all of your emails that are ready for approval. We migrated to ClickUp. Like one of the big reasons was to eliminate having to be in multiple tools for them, because they can do all their approvals really neatly there. We have like little insights, like a little dashboard where we like pop in, like, here's something good that happened this week. Here's something that we're working on. Here's something we're testing. Instructions, SOPs. So all of that's there. And they can actually really communicate with us via that channel, as well as Slack for more ad hoc stuff. We do basically a call every other week with most of our clients. So every month we do a monthly executive call with basically the executive team and all of the key stakeholders. And then every other week we do more of a check-in call that is more designed to just like, let's keep the ball rolling, right? Because our goal is to get things planned out 6 weeks in advance for clients, at least in terms of like campaigns outlined, planned, get the ball rolling on copywriting, design, all that stuff. We're just trying to get to the point where like everything's rocking and rolling. And then Bonnie had a great idea. She's starting now to basically send people, like each client, like a weekly pulse email, which is like a roundup of here's what's going on in your account. Here are the different emails and SMSs or campaigns that need approval. here's anything open that we're waiting on. Here's something good that happens, blah, 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 right? So between all of that, we really try to make ourselves really available, but we're also, I think the tough, the thing that we're trying to balance is like, how do we set expectations and parameters around that? Nobody's overwhelmed and we have some structure to that communication.
And I think a huge part of that too is meaningful just messages or, that pulse that we know exactly what Bonnie's doing. It's in our best practices. And sometimes we call that a daily pulse, but even like a regular pulse of that touch point with the clients. And I know e-commerce can just be like so many moving pieces all at once. So having some sort of streamlined communication and keeping it really meaningful, like, so you're on top of everything and you're ahead of it. I think that's super valuable. And I can imagine is very much appreciated from clients.
Yeah, it is. And I think you both, know that this is the thing with any agency or service provider is it doesn't really matter what you do or the results you get for a client. It's the perceived results or the perceived work that they're doing. This has happened to like us so many times, right? Where it's like we've done so much stuff, but we haven't done a good enough job communicating the results or communicating what we're doing. So then we'll get to, an executive call, or we'll get, to a situation where the client's like, what have you done for me lately? And they don't know that. And then we show up and we're like, oh, we've done all this stuff. But they're like, well, why didn't you tell us about that a month ago? I think it's really good for the client, but it's also really good for retention for the agency. And this is not something that I'm particularly good at that comes naturally. Like, I don't like to brag about stuff that we do. It's just not my personality. So it's helpful to have a couple people on my team that are much more like blunt about that. Like, yo, we rocked it for you. Like we crushed it, here are these results. And communicating that on a regular proactive basis is like really key for, I think, retention and having your clients perceive the value that you're bringing to them.
Yeah. And just reminding them, right? Like, hey, I'm still here. Hey, I'm still doing exactly what you're expecting and more, and showing off a little bit, which is so important to retention.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit more about retention and some of these surprise and delight moments that you are focusing on your B2C customers.
Yeah. And as I was thinking about preparing for this podcast and chatting with you guys, and I emailed Katie and some of the things that I thought, I was like, wow, there's a lot of similarities between like what you do and like surprise and delight moments for your clients, or like helping your account managers do that for other like agency clients, and like what we do for B2C clients. Think about like surprise gifts, like meaningful gifts or things like that. Like you weren't expecting it, but it catches you out of the blue and it meets you where you're at in whatever part of that journey. So for us from the B2C side, we try to do the same thing for our clients. The problem with the way that most e-commerce brands have their email marketing set up is that it's like basically long, complex, like static journeys for clients. So like what a lot of brands will do is they'll set up like, all right, we got a 10 email welcome flow, 5 email post-purchase flow, and abandoned carts and all these different offers. And it's really hard to manage, but it's also like you as the marketer plan that out. It doesn't actually like really meet the customer where they're at. It's really hard to manage. And it's not really focused on those surprise and delight moments where you can really like create a real impact. So our approach is something that we call like dynamic moments. And it's a combination of collecting data and information on your customers. So not just like historical data, but like preferences. If it's an automotive client, like, what are you most interested in? What are you riding? Like a bike, car, motorcycle, plane, whatever, right? How can we use that data then to create more personalized touch points? And then what we do is we combine that with lifecycle marketing, which is this idea that it's basically meeting your customers where they're at. Most brands think of their customers like it's just one big box and they're just like shooting straight at it and with a message and hoping that it resonates. Well, the key is like, your customers need very different messages at different points of their journey. It's like a new customer that just bought from you needs very different stuff than somebody that has bought 5 times from you. Or for example, somebody that bought 5 times from you, but hasn't purchased in a year, but then they come up to your site. So like each one of these life cycle stages needs something very different. We structure our programs to basically say like, hey, if you bought 3 times from us, you get something unique. If you open 10 emails in a row, like, whoa, maybe we automate a touch point that's like you're a great email subscriber.
I'd love to get an email like that.
Yeah, I know.
You're doing
It's
a
like,
great job.
Right. Yeah. Like keep it
Way
up.
to still be subscribed.
Way to stick with us. But then I think the third piece, which is I don't see hardly anybody else doing, like where we really, I think, shine from a customer engagement standpoint, is treating email, SMS, these channels like a two-way communication channel, not just a push channel. A lot of brands treat email like it's just a place to distribute coupons.
Right.
But right. And if you open up your Gmail promotions tab, like you'll see it. It's just like 20% off, 15% off, like shop this product, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you just tune it out.
Mm-hmm.
But what a lot of brands don't realize is that email, SMS, these channels is an amazing place to start a conversation with your customers. And that there's a lot of benefits, both from a revenue standpoint and a customer experience and marketing, and it just goes on and on. But what we do a lot of is cultivate and engineering audience participation. So where we're actually asking e-commerce subscribers to like respond to emails. You know, we've got clients this week. Hey, what are your plans for Valentine's Day? Hit respond and let us know. But then the next part is that we actually showcase and celebrate the people that respond. So we create these like positive engagement loops where people engage with us. And then we just mirror it back to them where we like be like, hey, look at all these cool responses. Katie from Halifax said this, you know, Bryan from Orange County said this, like, aren't they cool? Hit respond, let us know. And it creates this experience where email subscribers never know when they're going to open an email and see their face or see their name. And that's what really keeps it fun and interesting. And we get some really cool results doing that.
I like that. That's a good idea. I've tried doing that too, like creating more engaging emails where we encourage people to reply. And I actually do get a lot of people replying, like asking questions and things like that. But that's such a good idea to bring it full circle and actually share those questions with our audience, which is such a good idea.
You'd never expect that people still reply to emails from like marketing emails, but it's crazy that they do, you know, like people will literally tell you whatever you want, like in an abandoned cart email. One of our highest converting abandoned cart emails is like, hey, something got in your way of buying the other day. We're curious to know what it is. Hit respond to this email and let us know. Yes, like if you're still interested in this product, like you can get it here. And it like people buy a ton, but they'll also respond back and be like, oh, the shipping was too much. Or like, oh, you know, I hated your price.
Valuable.
Or whatever. And it allows you to actually like optimize and improve your shopping experience or whatever.
I feel like I'd be on the hook. I'd be like, oh my gosh, they're watching. I better go buy this.
Checking out now.
Checking out now. I'll do it.
It's a fine line with this stuff between being like, hey, I know all this stuff about you and I was watching you online and like,
your Google Home told me that you were still looking for a new bag.
Right. It's like finding that fine line of like using that information without being intrusive or creepy.
Yeah. And I think that the fine line is the best way to put it, right? Like we are sort of living in this world where everything goes into a promotions folder, but maybe more authentic communication is rare. So yeah, I'm sure people are picking up on it and just responding when they can, especially if it seems more natural, more organic, more real life person on the other side.
Yeah. And it's really helpful. And that's a super good point, Katie, where it's like, when you can send an email from a real person, like where it's coming from like first name at brand or something, it's in my mind is a huge advantage. It's why we work with a couple celebrity brands that get great results with this. And like one of them, you know, we sent an email a few months back to the list. We were like literally asking them, hey, we love sending these emails. Like, what's your favorite thing about being on this email list? And we had 1,200 people respond.
Wild.
Wow.
Like, so it's like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy when people see your email, they know that there's a real person behind that. Like, do they know it's not a robot sending this?
Yeah.
If I even think it's a robot, it's like, I'm not even reading it.
Right.
Like, yeah. Super valuable. And I think that a lot of marketing can even be that sort of attention to detail, that listening, that responding in a really authentic way, which is huge. It sounds like you're doing it really well, Bryan. Of course, there's tons of things happening with you and your business, but what can the listeners expect in the future? What are you working on?
Yeah, great question. We've got a couple really exciting things coming up. One being we're obviously continuing to grow our agency and our consulting side of the business. We really enjoy the consulting side of it in the advisory. So we're looking to work with more brands, larger brands, brands that already maybe have an email team, but just need some perspective and advice around that customer engagement strategy. So we do offer consulting. We do fully managed agency services as well. I think the thing that I'm most excited about is our paid membership, though, for Shopify brands. It's called The Boiling Point. We're in the process of relaunching it on a new platform, creating some really cool new content. But basically, it's a place for Shopify brand owners and marketers to get to come be in community with other people that want to grow want to basically sell without selling their soul, right? Like create great experiences for customers and learn quick and easy ways to grow their store and do those kinds of things that can be implemented in like 30 minutes. Like that's the whole point, is we want to basically give you the foundation and give you the knowledge around these are the frameworks, and then let people in on like, here are all the different things that you can do quick, easy today to make more sales, get more UGC, generate more replies, increase your open rates, reduce unsubscribes, how to use SMS, how to use direct mail, like things you can do. Because a lot of the content out there around like marketing is like, here is 10 hours of content and 30 email flows you have to set up, and nobody has time for that, right? So what we're much more about is like, again, dynamic moments, and also basically bringing in guest experts like paid ads, TikTok, management into this community to like help people grow their business.
Love that.
So yeah, that's what I'm really excited about. It's still pretty small and intimate right now. We have about 50 members, looking to grow it to about 2,000 this year. So that's a big goal. We're making some good progress on getting that going though.
That's exciting. So valuable too for so many business owners.
I think just kind of a quick answer to Bryan is this everything you thought it would be, where you started and where you are now? Is it completely different, or did you kind of know that this is what running your agency is all about?
I had no idea.
Which you're not alone in that.
Yeah, I had no idea. I honestly don't know what this is going to look like in like 2 months, 3 months. I feel like I'm very much just kind of like figuring it out right now. I'm only a little over a year into doing this full time. So it's still pretty new.
For sure. Yeah.
And I didn't expect to like have a team at this point. I'm really happy it's playing out the way it is, but it'll be really interesting to see how it continues to develop. I think what is interesting is that we're much less focused on email as like we got started as email marketing agency, but I think email by itself doesn't really cut it anymore. It's like email plus how does email fit into your larger CRM marketing and customer engagement? Yep. And you have to meet people where they're at. So that's like text, that's direct mail, that's social, that's on-site content, that's customer service, which is actually probably a big place that we're going to be looking at. E-commerce customer service and customer support is going to be, I think, a really interesting place. And I'm looking a lot at how we can maybe help brands in that as well. So yeah, I don't know. It is fun, although I am going into it with eyes open because I talk to a lot of agency owners that are maybe like 3 years in, 4 years in, 5 years in, and they just hate running an agency.
Yeah.
Like a lot of agency owners really don't enjoy running their agency because it's like basically one big HR department and it's like constant fires to put out and like all this stuff. So I'm trying to think about building 100 Celsius from that standpoint of like, not just how can we help our clients love it, but like, how can we make this a fun thing to run and do from my perspective, for our team, just for everybody involved. And that might look like maybe more consulting, more education, who knows?
Well, sometimes people get into this and they're like, oh, 2 years in, I'll be on a beach, I'll be sipping my margs and, having half days. And usually maybe it kind of turns into something different. So keeping your eyes on the prize. And if you're happy, what's that analogy of like putting your mask on before anybody else on the airplane? Like you have to be happy first. And then of course, everybody you'll attract happy clients and they'll just be happy clients, and probably it'll all work out perfectly, right?
You'd hope. Yeah, I think here's also from a business standpoint. I was at a conference earlier this year and somebody said this in their talk. I was like, oh. And the point was that A players don't want to work for your lifestyle business.
Right.
It's true.
You know, where it's like, you might, as a business owner, you might want to just like be sipping margs and hanging out on the beach in Mexico. But the best people don't want to work for a business empowering you to go do that.
Yeah, it's so true.
So like, I think that that's something that I didn't realize. And thinking about building a team with A players, it's like, it's not an easy road, I think, for an agency owner that wants to build a great team. It's like, they need to see you grinding it out too. Like they need to see you like hopping in there and doing the work and not just expecting them to support your lifestyle. I think a lot of people don't realize that going in. They're like, oh, I'm going to build this business and it's going to be great. I'm going to get some great people to just run it for me. Maybe, but that's tough.
Yeah. No, that's such a good point to make too. And I think you have to determine whether this is like a business that you're growing and growing big, or are you just looking to, replace your normal income and work less? Like they're two different businesses.
Totally, completely different businesses. Like I could have replaced my income many times over, right? And just done it by myself. But where would I have gone from there? I would have always just been doing the thing. But now it's like, I'm taking home less from the business now. It's bigger, taking home less than when I was like 2 employees.
Right.
Because a lot of it just getting plowed back into the team, right? And invest in the business. But it's a nicer experience for me.
Yeah. You're building something bigger, which is, a legacy. So Bryan, where can people learn more about you and get in touch for all things CRM marketing?
My website is 100 Celsius, 100 CELSIUS.co. And then you can obviously connect with me on Facebook or Instagram, or I'm trying my best at TikTok videos. Still feel super dumb posting them, but
everybody is.
Yeah. Like short form content, whatever. It's important now. So I'm there if you want to follow me and get rando email marketing tips and stuff. But
I feel like this could be your next TikTok, Bryan. Is like there are people that need to get on TikTok but aren't comfortable on TikTok. So how to be comfortable on TikTok?
Yeah.
I'm telling clients like, you know what, TikTok is it. And then people think it's like for teeny boppers dancing around, right? We're like, no, we won't make you dance, I promise.
Yeah.
I was so resistant to it for like so long. I up until recently, I had every social media app deleted from my phone. I just hate it. I really don't enjoy it. But yeah, it's obviously so good for business, and you have to be post if you want to.
You got to lean in.
You got to
do it.
So I can't thank you enough. It's been huge for us.
Oh, thank you. Well, we love working with you. You're just such a delight. Bonnie loves working with you. I think it was just like the match made in heaven. Everything happens for a reason, and it just kind of happened at the right time, right place.
All right, Taylor. Well,
lovely to meet you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll talk soon. Have a great rest of your week.
You too. Bye, Bryan.
Cheers to happy clients.